Hello all, welcome you to one more session in Tableau where we are going to discuss about a visually appealing kind of chart which is your tree map chart. So a tree map is basically, I could probably say that this is one of the basic chart type, and the structure if you see for a tree map, it is a rectangular boxes, kind of nested rectangular boxes used to be there when we wanted to visually imagine how does this tree map. Never mind if you are unable to imagine, because anyways we will be constructing our tree map. See, this particular chart is basically useful for very useful for dealing with larger data sets. Okay, so when you have a very large data set and you wanted to do a visualization for that larger data set, tree map is the ideal choice. Okay, so there are a lot of cases where you can I mean where you can actually think of a lot of use cases wherein a larger data set is being involved. But one of the interesting data set for me, and for many people I hope, is supposed to be the intrusion detection system data set. So when you have if I hope all of you know what is the meaning of intrusion detection system. It's nothing but a kind of a security guard which is there in your network, who is going to monitor which are all the users are, which are all the traffic that is coming inside me is normal, and which is not normal, any kind of threat or any kind of attack is coming. So intrusion detection is something who is going to give an alarm, or something kind of some kind of alarming will get generated from the intrusion detection system. So right now there are AI enabled intrusion detection systems, and then prevention systems is also available. However, this intrusion detection system, the amount of traffic which is coming inside the intrusion detection system is basically, you can't even imagine, like, for every second how much of traffic is getting inside my intrusion detection system, especially when you have to deal with a larger organization where you need to deal with both the wired systems and the wireless systems, and any kind of devices that they are being linked into the organization. So that becomes a very huge, and also the type of traffic that is getting inside is also huge. So when you wanted to do a visualization to identify who which are all is normal traffic and which are all is abnormal traffic. So for it will be generated on a daily basis first of all, and you will have you will have yearly data and day wise data, month wise data. All of these things will be available. So let's not get into the much of the details about the data set. Just to keep things simple, this is something I just wanted you to understand how large is the data set is going to be. Okay, so now if I want to do this visualization, what sort of visualization I require here is that that visualization in fact needs to mark the hierarchical data. Okay, so for a comparative analysis it needs to do a hierarchical data marking needs to be done. Okay, so what do I mean by doing a marking of hierarchical data? See, every time in an intrusion detection system, the type of traffic which is getting inside the intrusion system is unique. Okay, but to identify if it is an attack or a normal thing, there are certain kind of comparisons that needs to be done. So this comparison will go in a hierarchical manner. You could imagine in that way. So this will go in a hierarchical manner. So any kind of visualization which is going to mark the hierarchical data for comparative analysis, that would be an ideal choice for this type of use cases. Okay, so in short I could say that tree map is a chart. It's an important chart whenever you wanted to analyze the anomalies in a data set. So the anomalies needn't be an attack which is coming inside a network. It could be a fraudulent transactions which is happening inside a bank. Okay, so credit card fraudulent transactions, that's again an anomaly. So when you have to identify that anomaly as well, you need to do comparison, you need to perform it, correct? So for all these things, if you have to do an visualization, very important chart is basically your tree map. Okay, but a tree map, as I said, since it has to deal with a very large data set, it cannot come up with its own, like what are the features which is available in your bar or other type of charts, like, especially bar and stack bar is very good for visualization, right? So when you take those charts, you will have a lot of customization that you can do with respect to those charts. But in tree map, it is definitely not possible because of the larger data set it is handling. Okay, so there will be limited features in this, and if you have to represent a data range and all, definitely tree map is not a better choice. Okay, so only thing what you can do with a tree map is you can add proper colors and then size and labeling. If you do it, then a tree map would make some meaning. Otherwise, you cannot get any kind of information from the tree map. Okay, so that's one thing that I wanted to speak about. So this is one use case that I gave you, and this use case all of you would have understood, like, whenever we need to deal with anomalies, tree map visualization would help us to some point of time. I mean, at least till some point it is going to help for us. We got that point. Is it only for the anomalies? Means not really, basically. So um, see, if you want to communicate and consume a good number of marks on a single view, okay, so you want to have multiple marks in a single view, you want to see it, then what happens is that, I hope you understood what I'm speaking about multiple marks. So in your marks card you have multiple fields which is available. So everything you wanted to see in a single view, then tree map is an one more choice. I mean, tree map is going to be a choice for you. Okay, but otherwise, with that also you can actually spot some patterns or relationship. Okay, otherwise it's definitely not possible to do kind of, range finding, or all these things cannot be done. Okay, another is anomalies, is it is useful. And as I said, for big data use cases, if you have, then also to do a visualization for your big data use cases, again, tree map will be helpful for you. Okay, so this is about a tree map, and few points that I wanted to mention before we go ahead and see the demo. Okay, one point is that, see, only when you have to work on any two quantitative values, tree map chart is good. Okay, and also when you have a very huge hierarchical data with space to decide, then also tree map is good. And if you're trying to obtain a quick and high level summary for the anomalies and similarities within one and multiple categories of working data, then also tree map is an ideal choice. Okay, so now it's time for us to go ahead and understand how we can actually construct your tree map. So let's get started with the demo. So I'm just getting inside my Tableau environment. Yeah, this is my Tableau environment. So to construct our tree map chart, we will basically use the Superstore data source, which is our sample data source is there, right? So we will use that. Okay, so now what are the fields that we are going to make use is, we will try to make use of, just let me just update it once. Okay, once this is done, then we will try to make use of, some of the fields through which we can construct our tree map. Okay, so as I said, tree map chart is something which is going to consider and work only on your two-dimensional data. Okay, so but here if you see, there is dimensions, and there is measures, and there are parameters. Okay, so see, for a tree map, at least one dimension. Okay, let me show you here. So for if in case this is the tree map actually. So for a tree map, one or more dimensions is required and one or two measures is required. Okay, so with that you can construct your tree map. Okay, now we need to drag and drop the dimensions and the measure sections. Okay, then you can start understanding how a tree map is getting constructed. So for which I am going to drag this you know order. So order date is there. Okay, that I will drag it and I'm pushing it in my marks card. And one more is in your maybe your you know um, order date, and then we need to have if there is a region that would help us actually. So I think we can, yeah, location is there. So location should be our region. Okay, so as I kept this, you can see something is happening over here. Okay, so regional details like east, central, west, and also year of order details like 2014 15 will be there. Now if we add a sales data, I mean sales field, then it will make some sense. Okay, so let me just add the sales. See, now also you see that this tree map is not enabled so far. Okay, so we have just dropped in the sales. Okay, and then let me just give this as the size. I just wanted to give the size here. And also for year one, I will just do a labeling. And also for the sum of the sales also, I'll just go ahead with the text. Okay, so now I have the values here. Okay, now I can see that some values are getting displayed. Okay, now what we will try to do is that once I have done all of these things, now you can see that your tree map is enabled. Okay, so once you have put the specific values for your field, then your tree map is enabled. Now just click on the tree map. So now you can get your tree map representation. Okay, clearly understand this properly. Okay, now you can do a color coding and make sure that the proper color coding is being given. Maybe we will try to add the profit also into our tree map. Okay, and here for this also we will give the labeling. Okay, so now you can see here for every region wise, and year is getting displayed, as well as the profit and the sales is there. Okay, so let me just change the sales also to label. Okay, so yeah, so that will not work for us because we have to show the size, right? So that's the way you can actually construct your tree map. Okay, so you can as I said, only this type of visualization can be done in your tree map. Okay, and here this color coding difference you can see here. Okay, so that's this is the kind of details that a tree map can actually reflect for us. Okay, other than that other than that, a lot of customization is definitely not possible with your tree map. Okay, so just that I wanted to show you how we can construct your tree map. And usage of tree map is restricted only for finding out an anomalies, or in terms of visualizing your big data. Of course the use case is restricted over there. However, it's important for us to understand this type of visualization also. So that's the reason we got to know what is the meaning of a tree map. And yes, the demo is over. Now let us look on some of the limitations of tree map, because it's very important. See, the tree map actually, you cannot display data with varying ranges. Okay, as you display it for your bar or your line chart, you cannot do that with a tree map. Okay, and also we need to have definite two quantitative variables should be there. So in our case, it was the country and the GDP. Okay, so even though it is saying that two quantitative variables should be there, and that variable cannot hold any values, so it will have a limitation. it cannot tolerate a negative value or parameters. So that is again one more difficulty with tree map. And also sorting and all that stuff you cannot do. And you can't print it because you will have a larger set of data points, so you cannot print it. And customization options is very very limited with respect to tree map. Okay, so just I wanted to conclude this session. Tree map is definitely visually appealing, but functionally it has its own limitation. So tree map is something which you will prefer it when you have to show the cumulative totals for some kind of working data. If you wanted to show that, then you will make use of tree map. And so you can actually include for date, time, and then budget. If and all, if these things are involved in your data, you can include that to make your tree map appealing. Okay, so functionality wise, functionally there is a limited amount of functionality which is available in tree map. We need to understand that, but of course at certain cases it is useful, and that use case was clearly been explained to you. Okay, hope you have got an understanding on what is the meaning of a tree map. And in next session we will discuss about the axis, like blended axis and all that stuffs we will discuss in the next session. So that's all I have for this session. Thank you.